Hello everybody and welcome to the Congressional District 11 Democratic Primary Candidate Forum. Thank you so much for coming. We would also like to thank the South Lake Democratic Club. They're a club based in Clermont. Over 100 members there, one of the fastest growing Democratic clubs in the entire state of Florida. They have worked very, very hard. Ran by Farmer Banks Helfrich, who is also running for State House. He'll be up to introduce himself shortly. Also, the forum was additionally put in by us, the Lake County Young Democrats. We're a group that started up just over a year ago and we've been going strong since. We are so happy to have you all here and supporting this, and we can't wait to see how this goes.
Hello everybody, my name is Pedro Isaki. I'm the Vice President of Lake County Young Democrats. Thanks again for me. Before we get started, I'm just going to go over a couple of housekeeping and kind of a general overview of the event. So first of all, please turn your cell phones either off or on silent, just for no interruptions. We're going to ask them to kind of limit chatting between questions, just so that we can kind of keep the questions flowing. And secondly, the location of the restrooms, they're outside the hallway back on the left. Those doors are going to be locked, so when you re-enter from the front, please. And then lastly, I want to take a second to call out a brief safety overview. We are fortunate to have two volunteer safety officers. If you look towards the back, we have Juan Camacho and we have John, and they'll be keeping a lookout to make sure that everything runs smoothly with the event. If you have any safety concerns, please chat with them, and we appreciate them giving their time and their attention. Next, I'm going to brief overview of the event. After we are done with intros, we're going to have two sets of questions. Lightning round, yes or no questions, and then long-form focused discussion questions. And just to let you know that the questions were developed by the Lake County Young Democrats, and we kind of mulled them over and we chose some questions that we found pertinent and relevant to today's day and age. And then afterwards, the candidates will have a period to do some closing remarks. And then after that point, we're gonna have 20 to 30 minutes where you can chat with the candidates in the hallway in the back and ask them questions, get to know them. I highly encourage it. And with that, I am now going to introduce Trevor, the Lake County DEC Chair. Trevor, could you come up, please?
Isn't this nice? They put it at my height. Thank you so much. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for taking your time on a Saturday morning to be here for this very important event so that we can hear from these candidates, understand who we need to pay the most attention to, and maybe make some decisions going forward about who we're going to send to DC to help defend democracy. So who I am the Lake County Democratic Party Chair. What does that mean? It means I head an all-volunteer organization that helps get out the vote, educate you about the candidates, support the clubs and caucuses in our county. There are about 56 people across the state that do the same thing that I do, and lots more volunteers, leaders, and people that are very engaged in the political process. One of the questions I commonly get is, what are Democrats doing? Well, we are doing the hard work behind the scenes to get out those voters who maybe don't pay attention until the last minute, who don't know who the candidates are, who sometimes vote and sometimes not. We cannot afford to have our friends and neighbors who think that this craziness going on should be stopped and let them stay at home on election day. And so the first very important moment that we have coming up is the candidate primary to see who that we are going to put forward in this area, and specifically Congressional District 11, to represent our opinions, our ideas, to combat this crazy, corrupt criminality that is going on in Washington, D.C. So please join me in being a strong welcome for our candidates this morning. Really appreciate your time. They gave me only a few minutes. I could go on for hours about what we do and how we do it. Suffice it to know that you have lots of very engaged volunteers working on your behalf to try to get people to the polls and to make a difference this year and change what's happening in Washington. So right now, I have the opportunity to introduce the next individual. Many of you probably know. I am completely impressed by him because he has knocked more than 20,000 doors. God only knows how he does it. Farmer Banks Helfrich, please welcome him to the stage.
I've got T and J on my knuckles. I have the opportunity to give the rules of engagement for this debate, this forum. And they are substitutes or stand-ins for the candidate will not be allowed. And we have the three of you here, so there's no substitutes. Yep. Each candidate will have a table where they can set up campaign literature and decorations. There will be a short period after questions with attendees, when attendees can come to the table and talk with you and also take pictures. Yes, by all means, social media as much as possible. A moderator will conduct the meeting and has the responsibility to interrupt the proceedings to enforce the ground rules and format. And a timekeeper will keep track of the time allotted to candidates as they speak and or respond. The timekeeper will have a digital clock that shows the amount of time remaining. That is optional, but is it good? We are still on for that?
Yes.
Yeah, all right, perfect. It says down here optional. The timekeeper may use a sign that indicates how many seconds are remaining, and time limits are as follows. Yes and no questions. This is the lightning round, 20 questions. Each candidate will have up to 10 seconds if they do desire to comment on the response to the question. And then focused issue discussion, 1.5 minutes per question. All questions will be pre-written and asked by the moderator. Now, that is my responsibility as president of the South Lake Democratic Club. I would like to acknowledge Kim, our vice president, but Patty's here, and oh, Kathy's not here.
She is not. She's traveling.
She's traveling. All right, I'm going to put on my my candidate's hat. This is me, Farmer Banks Helfrich. How many here know who I am? Thank you. I have the responsibility of also introducing some of the candidates outside of this forum who are here running for office. And Jose Elias, and I will Torres, and I will spell this out to you. Jose, Jose Elias dash. We have to have the dash in there, don't we? Yeah, Torres, Torres. Take notes because he is a write-in candidate for District 2 for County Commission. And that's right there, Jose Elias Torres. We also have in District 4 County Commission, we have Igor Emery, and you do not have to spell his name because his name will be on the ballot, and right back there is his lovely wife. Get to know these candidates. Also, running for mayor of Mineola, he's macho, because he's Camacho. Juan Camacho, right there. Am I forgetting any candidates?
Robin.
Oh, Robin is here, oh my gosh. Yes, Robin, for those of you in District 26, she is running for District 26 state representative right there. She brought her own team. Great, wonderful. I am Farmer Banks Helfrich. Yes, I am a farmer. On the ballot, are you ready for this? It is going to be Farmer Banks Helfrich. My middle name is Banks. It's my mom's maiden name. Helfrich is my last name, my father's name. Helfrich, when you break it apart, in German, it means two things. H-E-L-F. Anybody want to guess what that means? Royal. Helpful one. Yeah, helpful one. And R-I-C-H, if anybody knows about World War II, R-I-C-H is Reich, which means government. My name means helpful one in government. I only found that out a year ago, so. Anyway, with that said, I'm going to pass it on over to Pedro. Pedro, all yours.
Okay, so next we're going to have the candidates introduce themselves. It's such a pleasure and honor for them to be here today. I really appreciate your time and your effort. Running for any position requires a certain element of risk and effort and earnesty, and I appreciate all of you for doing so. So first up for their introduction is going to be Royal Webster.
Good morning. I love this country. I love the ideals this country stands for, and I love the people. One of the things, I don't know what I'm going to say whenever I come up here. I do not have a stump speech. I drive my campaign manager crazy, right? But when I looked out to this crowd, I knew what I wanted to say. Is that I love what this country represents. My father's family came to this new world in 1631. John Webster was the 5th governor of Connecticut. Pero mi padre se murió cuando yo tenía 8 años. Y yo me crecí en la cultura cubana, en Miami, donde yo nací. But my father died when I was 8, and I was raised in the Cuban culture where I was born. My mom came from Cuba in 1960. When I was 18, I joined the military, United States Army. They made me a military intelligence analyst. They helped me go around the world, travel the world, and throughout this country. 118 countries right now, in 49 states, and I'm still counting. When I got out, I started teaching. I wanted to give back, and I wanted to serve more. I met my wife at my last duty station, which was Fort Meade, Maryland. That's where NSA is, that's what my last duty station was, National Security Agency. And then after meeting her and we were teaching together, I wanted to move down back home to Florida, where I'm from, where I belong. So we came down here 22 years ago. I currently teach at West Orange High School. I coach. I do a lot of things within the community. I'm a union member, all sorts of stuff. And then I started to notice that the community, the district, the state, and the country started to hurt. And I wanted to serve one more time. The oath I took to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States of America does not have an expiration date. I will defend the Constitution till my last breath. Now, everybody up here has a deep personal reason why they want to run for Congress. I respect that. I expect no different. But I'm telling you right now that the reason I'm running is for all of you and for everybody else that's not here in this district. I love this country. I want to serve one more time. My name is Royal Webster, and I hope to be your next congressman. Thank you.
Thank you, Royal. And with my great pleasure, I'd like to now introduce Dan Williams.
Hello! How is everybody today? Good, I like it. Well, I've met most of you, but if in case you were one of the few that I haven't met yet, my name is Dan Williams. I am actually a college professor, and I teach web programming and for mobile apps and websites at Full Sail University. But before that, I was born and raised in Indiana, and I came down here 26 years ago, and I've lived in the district for 22 of those 26 years. And I'm running for Congress to do one simple thing, and that is change how Congress fundamentally works. Right now, I don't feel like it works for anyone, and I feel like we don't have a voice up there. An individual person has no change or no effect on the laws that we pass. And I would like to change that. And how I'm gonna do it is I have a new plan. And my main platform is direct democracy. The idea is very simple. Every time we try to pass any kind of major law or bill up in DC, I'll make an educational video that helps explain that law. Exactly what happens when we vote yes, and exactly what happens when we vote no, using only facts instead of any kind of political party messaging. Because I want people to truly understand the laws that we're trying to pass, instead of these 1,000-page legal documents that no one understands, not even the representatives. Now, at the end of the video, I will provide my opinion, but it will be clearly marked about how I think we should vote as a district and what I think is best for all of us. After that, I'll open it up to a district-wide vote. And the way I'm going to do that is by partnering with the Digital Democracy Project. How many people have seen or heard of the Digital Democracy Project before? Couple. Oh, that's good. Okay, good. I'm glad it's getting out there. They are a Central Florida-based company. They are nonpartisan and nonprofit, and they only focus on transparencies of elections and voting. And you can actually vote for things right now. And whatever the majority opinion is going to be up there will be my direct vote in DC. So my idea is to try to put the power back directly in the hands of the people where it belongs, right? Now, my background, of course, is in engineering, and so I am a problem solver. And so I think of Congress like a broken machine or a broken system, where we need a change. Does everybody agree with that? Because how many people are currently happy? How many people are currently happy with the DNC? Anyone? I ask this question every single time I go out anywhere, and no one ever raises their hands, right? And think about that. Not one of us raised our hands that were happy with our current party. And why are we still voting for the same type of people and expecting a different outcome? Instead, let's try something new. And that new is going to be direct democracy. Once again, my name is Dan Williams, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Dan. And it's with great pleasure, I now introduce James Pericola.
Good morning. How are you all doing? I agree change needs to occur, but it has to be the right change. I'm pretty sure we all agree with each other on most issues, but what are we doing to reach out to people in a district that's heavily Republican to win this seat? That's my starting point, and that's why I got in the election, in the race. Barbie Harden Hall was in this race, and she suffered an unimaginable tragedy. She lost a child, and instead of retreat, she chose service. I'm honored to have her support in under 2 weeks. I did so by creating a message that I think is going to resonate with people beyond this room. I grew up in Florida. I know folks are wondering, this DC guy, who is he? Why is he coming down? Florida's always been my home. I moved here in 1984. Yes, I've lived in many other places, but again, if it's a purity test of who's lived in the district longer, we're playing their game and we're going to lose. I'm in this for my mother. My mother is having a very hard time right now with a broken healthcare system. It's broken on purpose. They want to frustrate us. They want to raise rates. My insurance rates went from $3,000 a month to $7,000 a month. That's unsustainable. I went to Publix the other day. Sliced watermelon, $38. 2 steaks, $50. This is a direct result of the failed policies of the Trump administration. I'm eager to get to know each one of you, and I look forward to your questions.
Thank you, James. And now we're going to move on to the lightning round question. Candidates, if you wouldn't mind holding up the fun yes or no pedals that we got for this event. So they should be visible from the back. Green is yes, red is no. And without further ado, Ethan's going to describe a little bit about this format and how it's going to go.
So this will be a new format. What we're going to do is that we're going to throw out a few 20 yes or no questions, and candidates will have a brief moment to react with their fun star-shaped paddles. Yes or no, according to however they feel on it. And afterwards they'll get a brief, I think 10 second window to explain on any questions they feel didn't have enough nuance. But without further ado, let's get started on that. So first, do you or would you take money from Republican or Donald Trump related PACs or large dollar donors?
Candidates, if you just raise that higher, please. Right. If you would like to provide additional commentary, keep it raised, otherwise put it down.
An emphatic no.
Okay.
And because the corruption in DC is unlike anything we've ever seen.
I apologize, James, but we're gonna keep in the order from left to right for now. I'll let you guys know when it's time to comment.
Sorry.
Roy, if you go ahead and comment.
Is there a bigger sign of no?
Fair enough. James, if you'd like to comment.
I'm still learning the rules, I apologize.
No worries at all.
An emphatic no.
No worries at all. It's a new format for all of us, so we're getting used to it. Thank you. Okay, next question.
Would you reject all campaign contributions from corporate PACs?
Okay, candidates, please lower your paddle if you have no comments. Royal, go ahead.
I want to work for the people, not for corporations. And we're gonna get to
Oh, microphone.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna work for the people, not for candidates. We'll try again. I want to work for the people, not for corporations, and we'll get to Citizens United here in a little bit.
I think Roger's for chairman. Yeah, I also reject all PAC money as well.
Yes.
Wait.
You made a mistake.
Can you repeat the question then?
Would you reject all campaign contributions from corporate
All right.
PACs?
This is the problem with yes or no questions, by the way, is I hate this kind of thing. But yeah, I'm rejecting all PAC money.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you feel billionaires, and unfortunately a trillionaire, are taxed appropriately?
Okay, candidates, please lower your paddle if you would like to add comment. Roy, go ahead.
It's not only the taxing, it's loopholes. We gotta get rid of the loopholes. That's where the problem is.
I would agree, and we have to raise the payment caps on all of them as well, because right now they're capped at $184,000, and that's ridiculous.
Thank you. James, go ahead.
I agree with both, and having the experience and understanding how you close those loopholes is why I'm running.
Okay. Thank you. Go ahead.
Do you support a lifetime ban on members of Congress becoming lobbyists?
Please keep your paddle raised if you'd like to comment. This time we'll go from right to left. James, please start.
Yes, but again, I think we need to define what lobbying is. Lobbying isn't always just working for a corporation. Lobbying oftentimes is working on behalf of seniors. The AARP is working with environmental groups. That's the kind of lobbying I've done, and I don't shy away from it. I welcome it.
Thank you, James. James, would like to provide your comments.
Yeah, I don't think we should be able to be a lobbyist after we do Congress, because I feel like we need to work for the people and only the people, and end it right there.
Thank you for your comments. Roy?
Yes, I think there should be a lifetime ban for Congress to be lobbyists, and we need more transparency. That's the key, is transparency.
Candidates, thank you for your comments. Next question.
Would you pledge to hold a town hall in this district in person at least once per quarter?
Please keep it raised if you'd like to comment. Dan, if you'll start, please.
So I've actually helped run a town hall here in this very room. When Daniel Webster wouldn't actually provide a town hall, I went ahead and partnered up with the Indivisibles to, in fact, have a town hall when he wasn't even here. So I'll be more than happy to do that every single quarter.
Thank you for your comments. James, if you go ahead and comment, please.
Yes, and to have an office that works on behalf of the constituents. Have a forward-looking, constituent-based office that helps people, especially navigate this broken healthcare system.
James, thank you for your comments. Although I appreciate the round of applause, let's keep it for later, please. Just because this is dragging maybe a little bit slower than I hope, so I don't know. Okay, Royal, if you go ahead and please comment.
Yes, and not only one town hall. On the same day, I want to hold 4 town halls, 10 a.m., 1 p.m., 4 p.m., 7 p.m. across. This is a huge district. It is 60 miles from Hunters Creek to Wildwood. We need to be more accessible.
Royal, thank you for your comments. Ethan, go ahead.
Would you vote in favor of right-to-work legislation?
All right, thank you for your comments. All right, thank you for your responses. If you'd like to comment, leave your paddle up. Okay, starting with Royal.
I am a union member. I am pro-union. I am not right-to-work state.
Thank you for your comments. Dan, go ahead.
Yeah, I would agree. We have to support our unions to make sure that they have the collective bargaining power that they need in order to help out our workers.
Dan, thank you for your comments. James, go ahead.
I've worked with unions my whole life, and I've also worked with corporations and getting the union perspective in front of the C-suite. Absolutely support unions.
Thank you for your comments.
Would you vote to overturn Citizens United?
Yeah, fair enough. Candidates, I assume you're all going to have comments after each one, so we'll just do it that way. Dan, please go ahead and begin.
I think this is a no-brainer one. I think everybody's on the same page for this. We need to take big money out of politics.
James, your opinion, please.
A trillionaire and billionaire should not be buying our elections. This is the worst Supreme Court decision other than Roe v. Wade that I've seen in my lifetime.
Thank you, James. Roy, if you'll go ahead, please.
So, here's the thing. It can be done at the state level a lot easier than at the national level. Follow Hawaii, and they've already done it. Montana will be next, right? The state level is the way to go. But yes, we need to vote it down at every means.
Florida is third.
Thank you for your comments.
Do you support the construction of more public affordable housing?
Thank you for your comments. James, please start.
Yes, and I would encourage the president to sign the bipartisan legislation that he's refusing to sign. It's a good first step.
Thank you, James.
I was going to say the same thing with the 21st Century Road to Housing Act. So, yeah, I think we definitely need them here, especially right here in Florida.
Thank you, Dan. Roy, please go ahead.
We're all in accord on this, and 85 senators voted yes, 5 voted no, over 300 congressmen voted yes. July 7th is a key date, and I'll talk about this later.
Thank you for your responses.
Do you support Hakeem Jeffries' continued leadership of the Democratic caucus?
Thank you, candidates. Dan, if you'll start, please.
I never met him, and so I don't really want to judge somebody before we actually meet them. Because I think the news can make anyone look any different way, and so everything that I've read online says he's a team player, and I like a team player. So until I actually meet him in person, I don't want to judge anyone.
Thank you. Roy, if you'll go ahead next, please.
Results. I am a results-driven person, and I don't see the results that we need from the leadership in the DNC, either at the Senate or Congress, or House of Representatives.
Thank you for your comment. James, if you'll go ahead, please.
He is a nice guy, and he's working hard, and he cares deeply about what he's doing. I agree, the Democratic Party overall, Royal, has been a complete and abject failure. That said, you deal with what you have, and I think given where we are now, given the vision that he and Democrats are, I'm hoping, will share with targeted tax relief, with supporting Medicare, Medicaid, and undoing the draconian cuts to Medicaid, yes, I think we need to stick with who we have in charge now, at least in terms of the House.
James, thank you for your comments. I'm going to ask that we keep it under 10 seconds, please. Thank you.
Would you vote to codify Roe v. Wade into federal law?
Thank you for your responses. Royal, if you'll begin.
A woman's body, a woman's choice. And also, women's rights should not change based on what state they are at, right?
Thank you for your comments. Dan, if you'll go next, please.
I would actually echo this. Women's rights to choose is her own, and we should not be able to make legislation that says it one way or the other.
Thank you, Dan. James, if you go ahead, please.
Amen. As a father of a daughter and married to a very strong woman, I encourage you to talk to her. That's an emphatic yes.
Thank you for your responses.
Do you support breaking up major tech monopolies like Amazon, Google, Meta, Palantir, etc. using antitrust law?
It's a maybe.
Thank you for your responses. James, if you'll start, please.
I think that's an easy answer to give, but I think what we really need to do is strengthen antitrust laws and make sure we have a DOJ that works effectively and that isn't corrupt. Yes, I think we should look at every one of them and stop monopolies where they exist, but I also think we should look at media companies and how we receive information.
Thank you for your response. Dan, if you'll go ahead, please.
Right now, the tech billionaires are treated like world leaders. They were at the G7 meeting, at the tables with all the leaders of all the nations, and why? We can't have them there, and they should not be there in the first place.
Dan, thank you for your response. Roy, if you'll go ahead, please.
Standard Oil, American Tobacco Company, and the last one was in 1984, AT&T. Monopolies do not belong in this country.
Thank you very much. Moving on to the next question.
Do you support making union organizing easier through legislation like the PRO Act?
Candidates, thank you for your response. Royal, if you'll start.
No union has been made more difficult to join than the teachers union in the state of Florida. It is constantly under attack. The PRO Act tries to defend that. We need to defend unions.
I would agree. We have to defend unions, and I think a good example of it is the Starbucks. They're trying to unionize and they're trying to bust up their own stores just so they don't have to deal with that. So we need to make sure that doesn't happen.
Thank you for your responses. James, please go ahead.
I agree with both, yes.
Thank you, James.
Do you oppose the expansion of toll roads into rural and conservation lands?
Thank you for your responses. Dan, if you'll start.
We don't need toll roads that do this kind of thing, that cut right through environmental, like sacred lands, it's conservation lands, and we actually had a Central Polk Parkway that got rerouted just so it wouldn't do that through the Lake Marion Creek one. So I support this.
Thank you,
Not
Dan.
to do it. These yes/no things are weird.
James, if you go ahead, please.
Yes.
Royal, if you go ahead.
Yes, and I'm very proud of Orange County for fighting against the toll road that's going to, or supposed to go through Split Oak, and Orange County has voted it down several times.
Thank you for your responses.
Would you support federal legislation that would ban state governments from influencing zoning and housing laws like the Live Local Act in the Florida State Legislature?
Candidates, thank you for your response. James, if you start, please.
I don't know if it's constitutional, but it sounds good.
Thank you for your response. Dan, if you'll go ahead.
I don't think either one is a good option. We need to make up like something that actually addresses both concerns. But right now, I trust the local government more to make sure that we keep track of our most vulnerable population.
Thank you for your response. Royal, if you'll go ahead.
I answered yes, but like James says, I don't know the legality of it. In theory, it's a great idea.
Thank you for your responses.
Would you support legislation that would ban state governments from requiring felons to pay fees before they can register to vote?
Well, I'm sorry, one more time on the question. Sorry.
Would you support legislation that would ban state governments from requiring felons to pay fees before they can register to vote?
Thank you for your responses. Royal, if you'll start.
Yes, but it's again a slippery slope because voting is a state act. It is a state-driven act. So it's a slippery slope when we do this.
Thank you for your response. Dan, if you'll go ahead.
That would be considered a poll tax, which is illegal to begin with. And also, when somebody does time, that is how they pay it back to society. So they shouldn't be penalized twice.
Thank you for your response. James, if you go ahead.
Agreed, unless we can have a very specific carve-out for Donald John Trump.
Thank you for your response.
Do you support legalizing marijuana at the federal level?
Thank you for your response. Dan, if you'll start, please.
I think this is also a no-brainer. We already had this on the ballot, and it was already 56% of all Florida wanted this. The only reason it didn't pass is the 60% law. So I'm for it. And also, Colorado and California already proved that this works.
Thank you for your response. James, if you'll go ahead.
Yes, and this is an issue that I've worked on for over 8 years. 8 years ago, this was a very controversial issue. I am now unable to speak about it due to an NDA based on a legal suit that I pursued because I stood up for a principled argument with folks that wanted to not recognize our work, but absolutely, and this needs to be done yesterday.
Thank you for your response. Royal, if you'll go ahead.
Yes, and I would tax it the same way we tax cigarettes and alcohol, right? Just make it legal and tax it.
Thank you for your responses.
If Medicare for All is not achievable in the next Congress, would you work to ensure that a public option is achievable either in the next Congress or the following Congress?
Candidates, thank you for your responses. James, please begin.
Insurance is one of the things that's driving this country and the middle class into bankruptcy. It has to change.
Thank you for your response. Royal, if you'll go ahead.
Yes, and realistically, it's not going to be signed by the current president. So we have to look forward, right? I'm not gonna tell you something that is not realistic. Yes, I will continue to work as long as I can for it.
Thank you for your response. Dan, please go ahead.
Yeah, I would agree. I don't think it's going to be possible this long season at the White House, but any kind of steps that we can get to Medicare for all I'm going to take those.
Thank you for your comments.
Are you opposed to the construction of data centers in rural areas of our district? Are you opposed?
Am I opposed to it?
Thank you for your responses. Royal, if you'll begin, please.
Yes, and this is, I think, something that we can negotiate across the table, because there's a lot of Republicans that feel the same way. Anthony Sabatini being one of them. I propose a one-year moratorium for the entire country.
Thank you for your response. Dan, go ahead.
I would agree. I think we need to freeze all of them until we get legislation that actually keeps track of this kind of stuff. Because we need studies that kind of look at the environmentality impact, the economic impact for energy and water, and we need to make sure that the workers' rights are going to be there as well.
Thank you very much. James, please go ahead.
Yes, but it's largely a local issue and should be treated as such. Yes, there should be federal protections. Yes, we should rein in the oligarchs. But where something goes or doesn't go, I think we should be realistic about what the role of congressperson is.
Thank you for your responses.
Would you vote to cut the Pentagon budget by at least 10% to redirect funds to domestic needs? Wow, that was fast.
Thank you for your responses. Dan, if you'll please begin.
This is also a no-brainer. I think we spend way too much on the military, and I would rather fund peace and bring that money right back home.
Thanks for your response. James, please go ahead.
Yes, and use it in middle-class targeted tax relief, child care tax credits, helping working people, helping elderly folks like my mom.
Thank you, James. Royal, please go ahead.
Yes.
Are you turning off your mic after your choice?
Yes, and 10% is not enough. The current budget is asking for 1.5 trillion. Let's start at 50%. I'm a veteran. That's incredibly unreal. It is incredibly wrong to ask for 1.5 trillion in any field. In military, let's get out of the war business.
Do you have an extra battery by any chance? Double A.
I'll go get it.
Thank you.
We'll go get it. Thank you.
Sure. Yeah.
Danny, if you could. Oh, sorry, you already answered. Right.
Yeah.
My apologies. Moving on to the final question of the yes or no portion.
And finally, would you support restructuring ICE to separate immigration enforcement from criminal enforcement?
Candidates, thank you for your responses. James, please go ahead.
I'm married to an immigrant. This is deeply personal for me, my family, and for this country. And what happened in Minnesota is outrageous, and it needs to change.
Thank you, James. Royal, if you'll go ahead, please.
Yes, and I took the Abolish ICE pledge. If I am elected, I will do whatever I can to change what ICE does. It is horrendous.
Thank you for your response. Dan? please
I
go
actually
ahead.
agree. Abolish ICE on every level. It needs to be completely rethought from the ground up.
Thank you very much. Candidates, we appreciate your answers to these questions. Audience, if you could give them a round of applause, please. Obviously, yes or no questions do not necessarily capture the full nuance of a discussion. So if you wish to continue the discourse about any of these topics afterwards, please find them at their booths after the table, and please chat with them. Thank you. Next, we're going to be moving on to the lightning round, moving on to the focused issue discussion. Each candidate's going to get 90 seconds. Our timekeeper, Amy, is going to raise a yellow marker when we're 30 seconds from the end. And Amy will also raise a red marker when time is up. We're going to stay fairly strict on the time clock. For the next 10 questions, the candidates may use one of these questions to extend their time by 30 seconds, but only once, so use your time wisely. And without further ado, Ethan's going to go on to the long-form discussion.
How do we promote compromise and unity in our country?
Roy, if you start, please.
First of all, words matter. I will negotiate, but I will not compromise. We've compromised too much as a Democratic Party to the other side. Last forum we had here had a similar question. And then it was followed up by, but how do we know? Because everybody says the same thing. And I will tell you what I told them then. I have a spine. I will stand up for what is right, and I will not back down. We need to stop compromising. Negotiation is one thing. We wanted to negotiate on how much money is going towards this or money is going towards that. I am fine with that. But compromise to me means turning back on the ideals of this country, compromising. And look, the Affordable Housing Act that just went, both sides negotiated in good faith, and it's still stuck. Why? Because the current president won't sign it. And I said I would get to this. July 7th is an important date. That means that 10 days after the president was given the bill, it either passes into law, he vetoes it, or that's it. And if he vetoes it and they have spines, then it will pass because 85 senators and over 300 congressmen. So I'm not compromising anything. And if that's what you want, I'm not your candidate.
Thank you for your response. You may applaud after these questions. Thank you. Danny, if you go ahead.
All right. I think right now that America is broken. We are a two-party system, and it is a weird, clear divide that has just gotten worse over the years. And we need to figure out a way to bring America back together as one, right? And I believe that my platform can help do this, because the idea is that we always think that the other side is against us, right? But if we start focusing on policies more than parties, then I think we're gonna find that we have a lot more in common with people. And I think right now, people vote the way they do because of political party lines, because they're being lied to, or they're being told half the story. So if we actually give them good information, which my idea is to make those educational videos, and I think if we actually explain what happens with a yes or a no, then I think we're gonna find a lot more unity just together, right? Because people don't know that they're voting against their best interests. But if we explain it and educate the people then they know exactly what the law does, I think we're gonna find a lot more commonality between it. And I think we need to, specifically in this district, because we have a ton of Republicans with it, right? We're 40% Republican, we're like 30% of Democrats and 30% independents. So we need to get those people on our sides, and we need to make sure that all the independents come with us as well. And I think my plan of direct democracy can do that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dan. James, please go ahead.
We're at an inflection point in this country. A lot of people bought the bill of goods that prices would be fixed on day one. Even some of my crazy family members on the MAGA right are starting to wake up and realize they've been lied to. But in any deliberative body, and I think we need to focus on what the role of member of Congress is, it's to legislate. It used to be a co-equal branch of government. Now it's a bunch of people that are wannabe celebrities that are more concerned with clicks and TV appearances and feathering their own nests than worrying about what's going on the ground in their own district. We've seen that for the last 20 years here. But as somebody that's actually worked in the system and knows what's doable and what's not, I like these guys a lot. I'm not here to attack them or say anything negative, but the idea of a direct democracy sounds great. We use words like AI, that's what everyone's talking about. Not only is it unconstitutional, will almost certainly end up in litigation, are we then gonna vote the majority of a Republican district, if that's what the consensus of the group is? This is the most do-nothing Congress in the history of our country. And there were 500 major pieces of legislation or votes that they had. That's a lot of videos. And for people that are working two jobs, that's putting more on them than I think they're willing to engage in. We need to have leaders that understand the issues, that are in touch with the community, and that vote the district.
James, thank you for your response.
Quick question. Can I have like 30 seconds to respond to that though? Because if you're gonna attack my platform,
I'm not attacking anyone. I just want to draw a contrast and explain why I'm in the race.
So
really
really briefly before we continue, James, thank you for your response. But we do ask that the primary form of your response be your platform exclusively. I do understand that it does matter the stances of the other candidates. We're trying to see your personal response. Of course. Thank you very much. Moving on to the next question, please. And I will actually ask this one. The administration has worsened the stigmas around autism spectrum disorder, as well as many other disabilities. How do you intend to combat these stigmas? And Dan, please start.
Yeah, I think most of those kind of stigmas come down to a lack of education. And I think education is going to be super important, and I know Royal will agree with me on this. He's going to have some good stuff for you. He's got a lot of fun stories. But I think it comes down to understanding what people need, and we can't speak for them. What we have to do is we have to make sure that we ask them what they need. So I'm a college professor, right? And so my school has something called an accommodations letter. And what it does is our staff meets with the people and asks them, what do you need to succeed? And what they do is they put that into a document, and every single class, a teacher gets that to make sure that we know the best way for people to actually succeed for it. These things are dope. So it comes down to an education, and we need to make sure that we support the laws in order to make sure that that happens as well. And that's my answer for it. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. James, please go ahead.
I agree, and I have family members that certainly are impacted by this, as I'm sure many of you probably do. I think we need to stop the attack, the multiple attacks on these communities, and I think we need to strengthen the laws that are already on the books.
Thank you, James. Next, Royal, please.
My wife has been an ESE teacher, special needs teacher, for 32 years. 5 years ago, I started work every June, the extended month that they give kids with special needs. This year, I worked with elementary kids for the first time. It is a life-changing experience. Education is the key to everything, not only to special needs, but to everything, and literacy is that key. The Department of Education has been shredded. And if you know anything about the Department of Education, the main thing that they work with is federal laws to support and defend and protect students with special needs. The paper that Dan was talking about in high school is called the 504. There's also IEPs. The IEP doesn't follow you after high school. The 504 does, and that's what Dan was talking about, right? We need somebody in the Department of Education that knows what they're doing. The current Secretary of Education, my favorite picture of her is her standing in front of a bookshelf with no books. They have gutted that department, and it needs to be redone. Thank you.
Thank you for your response.
How do we improve the quality of education system, quality of the education system in the U.S.? James, you can start.
Again, I think this is mostly a local and state issue. I think the fact that the Department of Education has been gutted, I agree, that needs to be reversed immediately. But I really want to rely on local and state partners that have the lead on that. I truly believe that that's not a federal issue. Now, obviously, when it comes to student loans and reimbursing, those are things that can be done at the federal level. But improving education overall, I think we should leave that to the state and local folks.
Thank you for your response.
Royal, please.
I alluded to this earlier. Literacy, literacy, literacy. You can run federal programs like No Child Left Behind. I have on my website, electoralwebster.org, Project Literacy 2040. Currently, we have a 72% literacy rate in this country that's based off of 5th grade reading. We need to increase that. My act wants to increase it to 95% at a 9th grade level by the year 2040. This is not something about money. It is about priorities. Cuba has a 97% literacy rate. It's one of the poorest countries in the world, but yet they know how to read. We don't emphasize literacy. Why? Because an educated populace is a dangerous populace. The educated people are a threat to what we got going on right now. I want to make sure everybody understands this. Literacy is the key to everything. It's the key to better jobs. It doesn't have to go where you go to college. Plumbers make great money and they don't go to college. But literacy is the key. And you cannot sign a contract if you don't understand what you're reading it. And we sign blindly. And that's how we get in trouble. And I promise you that if we don't correct the literacy rate soon in this country, it's going to get a lot worse. Thank you.
Thank you for your response. And finally, Dan.
Yeah, I think in order to affect the quality of our education, we need to make sure that we have good teachers, right? Right now, we do not pay our teachers enough, and I think Royal would agree with me on that. Right? Now, the idea for it is we need to make sure that we actually persuade people to become a teacher. Because right now, it doesn't really make sense for them to do it, because we don't pay them well, we don't actually give them any kind of support normally. And I kind of disagree that it should be more of a state and local level. I think we need to have a baseline that is across all of our nation. We need to have a standard that we can actually point to where people can build on top of it. So I'm not saying overrule any of the state or local kind of stuff, but we need to set a baseline so we're all on the same page. Because I would agree with Royal, I think education is our future, and I think we need to make sure that we're actually supporting it and funding it fully.
Thank you for your response.
The next question is going to be, what is your position on healthcare access and affordability? Royal, please start.
I'm very fortunate. I've never paid a medical bill in my life. The Army and the Veterans Affairs Administration has taken care of that for me. Congress has a great health care. We need it for everybody else. Medicare for all is a must. I support Bernie Sanders and his goal. And this was an earlier question. If we can't get to it this upcoming one, can we do it the following one? Yes, we can in 2029, when this guy's either in jail or out of office and in exile somewhere. I don't believe that anyone should go into catastrophic debt because they are not healthy. I don't believe that you should choose medication over food. I don't believe that being the richest country in this world that has ever existed, should we have people that can't afford to pay for a flu shot, or that can't afford to go see a doctor on a regular basis. Because preventive care, after everything else, is the most important thing. Thank you.
Thank you for your response. Dan, please go ahead.
Yeah, I have to say I agree with Royal on this one, and I think we're all going to be on the same page for it. I think the path clear, the forward, let me tell you one more time, the path forward is clear, and I think it is Medicare for all. I think we definitely need to expand our healthcare systems. Right now, we need adequate support for vision, dental, and we need hearing in there as well. And then I would agree that we need to lower these prices or get rid of them altogether. And one of the ways we need to do that is we need to start making sure that the government can actually negotiate those drug prices, right? So right now there's a law out there in the books that prevents the government from negotiating drug prices. And if we start allowing that, just that one simple action, then we can actually make a price anchor. And then all drugs will then lower for that same reason. And so I think we need to start attacking these laws one by one and start just taking little chunks of it. Can we attack it all at once? Probably not. Can we do small steps? Absolutely. But as long as we take those small steps in the direction of Medicare for all. Thank you so much.
Dan, thank you for your response. James, please go ahead.
I agree, and it's one of the principal reasons why I'm running. I've worked on healthcare policy for over 30 years. And the way you move the ball forward, Royal, I believe, is you have to compromise on some of these things because the interests are so entrenched. It's not enough to just say, we're gonna fix it. And I can tell you a specific example. I worked with both administrations on the COVID disaster, really, that hit this country. And a way we worked to compromise was to encourage corporate leaders to reach out to underserved communities, to reach out to people that didn't have the right information, that didn't have it in Spanish. And it was a way to make sure that those who were most vulnerable, the elderly and the underserved communities, were prioritized. We prioritized teachers. And again, that was through a series of compromises. I know that's not the current word of the day, but to really tackle these problems that are bigger than any one freshman member of Congress, that may have 2, may have 4 years, there has to be a clear understanding of how the process works, what's broken, and it is broken, I agree with that, and what we can do to affect change.
Thank you for your response.
Do you believe immigration policy needs reform? If so, how?
Yes. I think immigration in this country is severely broken. And I think one of the ways that we can start fixing it is starting to attack the backlog of people. There are millions of people just waiting in order to get their hearings up for their immigration hearings, right? And one of the ways I think we should do that is by embracing technology. Because right now, a lot of stuff is done by paper and it takes forever, which is part of the backlog process of it. And do I think it needs to be changed? Yes, I think it needs to be changed from the ground up about how we actually do it. Do I think immigrants are important to this country? Absolutely. And should they be here? Of course they should. And right now, I think America is treating them like they shouldn't be, and we need to stop that on every level. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your response. James?
Absolutely. It's very popular in this room, obviously, to say we should abolish ICE. I do think we need to have a reformed ICE. We need to go back to the original model. We don't need untrained goons roughing up senior citizens and immigrants that are here doing the right thing by our country, that are following the laws of our country. But at the same time, to say something like we're going to abolish ICE and abolish the idea that we need to have enforcement in this country, which was supposed to be, if I recall, the most dangerous of the day, which we haven't done. We've put 70% of people who've done absolutely nothing wrong in prisons that we wouldn't put our worst enemy in. So clearly we need to address the funding, we need to address the idea of what ICE is, and we need to work on the enforcement.
Thank you so much for your response. And Roy?
Immigration. It is an issue. And yes, I still stand by my words. I want to abolish ICE. We could start all over again and create another system that is much better and more humane than what we're currently doing. But we also have to understand who started the immigration problem. It wasn't the immigrants, it was us. The Americans that were here that opened the door. 1942, I've done a podcast on the problems of immigration. Why 1942? Because that's when we started the Braceros program, and we brought people over to work our fields. Because, like Rosie the Riveter took to the factories, the immigrants took to the fields because our men were fighting World War II. That was supposed to be a 2-year program. It didn't stop till 1964, when they tried to unionize. And when they tried to unionize, the farmers went, no, 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 no. And the country told them to go away. And what happened? They started coming over illegally. And we let it go. Why? Because we like cheap groceries. Because we like our lawns taken care of. Because we want people working in hotel rooms and paying them less. We created the problem, not the immigrants. Let's make sure we understand that before we start treating them less than human. Thank you.
Thank you for your response.
The next question is, how do we improve the U.S. economy, specifically regarding employment, inflation, and debt? James, if you'll start.
I think we need to start with debt. The DOGE was a great idea, and Democrats should embrace it. Democrats have never talked about lowering spending. We need to start with the Department of Defense. I agree with these guys. What was the second part of the question?
You're all right. The question was, how do we improve the U.S. economy, specifically regarding employment, inflation, and debt?
And we need to have economic policy that creates jobs, that encourages the middle class, that rewards innovation, that rewards hard work, and that makes us look forward in this country and not back. I agree that we are the problem and immigrants are not. But to say that we should not enforce our laws, and I'm not saying that that's what these guys are saying, I'm saying some in the party are saying that we need to abolish ICE. I think that is the surest way to continue to lose elections, not only in Florida, but across the country.
James, thank you for your response. Roy, if you'll go ahead.
Two names that usually don't go in the same sentence, Elon Musk and Neil Tyson deGrasse. They agree on one thing, if not more, but one thing I know of, UBI, Universal Basic Income. If you go to my website, likeroyalwebster.org, you will see the RISE Act, right? And that is a hybrid of UBI. And it means that anybody that makes less than $68,000 a year, we're gonna bring them up as close to it as possible with starting everybody and raising the floor $16,000. Everybody making under anybody making under $68,000, unless they reach $68,000, will get $16,000 to start. Why $16,000 to start? Because the poverty level is $15,960. And I want everybody to start above the poverty level. What do you need to do this? You need to file an income tax. And as long as you file an income tax, and whether you file it jointly or together or separate, and your household does not make over $140,000, you'll get money. Elon Musk, Neil Tyson deGrasse think it's a good idea. Pretty extreme people. I like their version a little bit less than I like my own. It's called the RISE Act. Look it up.
Thank you, Roy. Dan, if you please go ahead.
Yeah, I would actually agree with James that we have to start lowering the debt. Right now, Trump is responsible for 1/3 of our debt as a nation, which is ridiculous. And I think one of the ways we need to do it is to cut spending in ways like in the War Department. So like we talked about before, I think we give them way too much money and we are fighting too many wars that shouldn't be, right? So I think Iran is a really great example of that, where we're spending billions of dollars a day for what? What are we gaining that we didn't have before for it? Now, for employment, I think we're gonna have a little bit of a cliff here because of AI. I feel like AI is starting to take some jobs, and I think other companies are blaming AI for losing jobs. But a lot of that is just trying to readjust because they hired too many people after COVID, and now they're trying to blame AI for that kind of stuff. Now, the thing that we have to make sure that we're dealing with is that when we're dealing with new technology, we need to make sure that our workers are going to be protected. So this is actually why it goes back to the data centers and their freeze for that kind of stuff. Because we need to make sure that when we are making new technology, that we're creating new jobs with it. And so a lot of people are scared because of AI, but don't be, because all we have to do is make sure that we have good jobs that are good paying with it, right? And I think that's my plan for it. So thank you very much.
Thank you for your response.
Next question is, do you believe immigration policy needs, oh, sorry, we already did that one. If you could pass one bill instantly, what would it be, Roy?
If I could pass any one bill, just magically and make sure that the current president signs it, I think I've already said it. Medicare for all, right? Medicare for all. But that's hypothetical, and we can't live in a hypothetical world. We have to live in a real world. And I understand, as James alluded to, that freshman congressmen aren't gonna be able to go in there and get their way, right? There's never been a freshman Democratic congressman or woman that has gone and become a member of the Ways and Means Committee the very first time. It just doesn't happen. So what can we do? Pass Medicare for all? Yes, that would be my dream goal. If I get there, what I'm going to do is what I swore an oath to do. I'm going to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States the best that I can. Why? Because it's being trampled on every single day. I took an oath, and I took that oath very seriously. And when I take my next oath, I will take that one just as seriously. Thank you.
Thank you for your response. Dan?
I would agree with Medicare for all, but I think that's the easy answer. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about one of the policies that's on my website. And it's in regarding to digital privacies between the internet and social medias. I think we are very behind as a country for digital privacy rights. And if you don't know what that kind of stuff means, it's basically when you talk about something near your phone, and then the next day the phone serves you up an ad for that specific thing. Just quick show of hands, how many people has that happened to? Yeah, right? That is digital privacy. And the problem with it is that the data companies right now are making giant, basically kind of voodoo dolls of us, where they can actually see how we're gonna vote and see what makes up our minds for it. And they can do this by gathering information from our purchases, our social media posts, and everything. And they're starting to use that against us. And I think we need to focus more on this just as a nation, because we need strong digital privacy rights. So that's what I'm gonna pass. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your response. And James.
I think both are important goals, but what can we actually accomplish? I think what we can accomplish is undoing what was in the big, beautiful bill. I think we can look to put more money in middle-class taxpayers' pockets, and I think we can look to restore some of the healthcare cuts that were savagely taken away from our most vulnerable. I think that's something, in fact, I know that's something we can do. I've worked with many of these people. I know that's a priority where they're focused if they take a majority, and that's where I think our focus should be. We should be focused on economics, and we should be focused on how do we bring more people into this room.
Thank you for your response. The next question is, do you believe that corporate interests have too much influence over the Democratic National Committee? Do you support the Democratic Party's federal leadership? Dan, yes, please. Sorry.
Not a problem. I do think corporations play too big of a role in politics just across the platform, right? I think we can all agree on this. We need to start making politics about the money and start making it about the people. We need to make sure that we're passing laws that help us and not corporations for it, right? Too many times, it's very easy for lobbyists to get a hold of a representative, because all they have to do is convince one representative and they get all of our 800,000 votes without even trying, right? Now, my platform, a direct democracy, flips this on its head, because they would have to convince all 800,000 of you guys in order to get my one vote. And that's why I think direct democracy is gonna help that not only our party, but the country in general. Because we need to make sure that people understand the laws that we're trying to pass, and they know that they're gonna vote in their best interest. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your response. James, if you'll go ahead, please.
Could you repeat the question, please?
Certainly. Do you believe that corporate interests have too much influence over the Democratic National Committee? Do you support the Democratic Party's federal leadership?
They have too much influence in policy overall, due largely, I think, to Citizens United, for sure. And yes, the Democratic Party. I mean, some have suggested that I've been parachuted in here by the DNC. For the record, I think the current leadership is a complete clown show. The fact that they're going to spend 2 years on an autopsy that we all understand why, and millions of dollars, and then not release it. Yes, I think the current leadership of the DNC needs to go, and they are in no way serving the needs of this area of Florida that's been ignored for 30 plus years. Not since I worked on President Clinton's re-election campaign when Florida was competitive. So yes, I think we need new ideas. I think we need to stop playing it so safe and think that all we need to do is run against Donald Trump. Again, I'll keep saying it. I think if we're going to win this election, we need to have a very simple, targeted approach. Middle-class tax relief, protect Social Security and Medicare, restore the cuts to Medicaid, and make sure that we do everything possible to look after our seniors and those that are most vulnerable.
Thank you for your response. Roy, if you'll go ahead.
I want all corporate money out. I really do. Do I support the DNC? What's the alternative? I'm not going to support the Republicans, right? I support them, but I will fight with them, and I will argue with them, and I will make sure that they understand that they are not being effective right now, and they are not representing the people. We are the party of diversity. We are the party of inclusion. Let's act like it. Let's start being diversified. Let's start being inclusive with everybody. Let's not pander because we're speaking in front of one crowd and change your message when you speak in front of another crowd. My message stays the same regardless of who I'm talking in front of, because that's who I am. And I'm not gonna change anything in how I do it. Will I negotiate? Yes. Why won't I change? Because I will say it again. I'm not gonna compromise my integrity for anybody. I believe that the Democratic National Party needs a lot of work. But at the same time, we gotta look at our alternatives. We can't fight with them. We just gotta fight amongst ourselves to make it better, but not make it public. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your responses.
Next question is, would you vote for further arms funding to Israel of any sort, defensive or otherwise? The next would be James.
First, I'm a father, and as a father, it's unconscionable what's happening to the children of Gaza and the innocent people of Gaza. At the same time, I think we need to recognize that Israel is our ally. And it would be very convenient yet again to, and this is where they trap us as a party. These yes or no questions, what would you do? Which side are you on? What purity test are you? Oftentimes these questions are very complicated. We can't abandon Israel. They have a right to exist, as does Palestine. So I would not vote to include any of offensive weapons that we've been using or they've been using in our name to bomb innocent children, women, and people that are just trying to live. We should not have starving children in Gaza. But I think it's a very complicated question, and I think we would do well to understand both sides of the issue. And it's not both sides in the issue, it's just understanding and recognize that Israel was also attacked. And the smartest thing we could do as a party is to not make this a purity test in a primary that's later used against us.
Thank you for your response. Royal.
2 minutes, please. You said we could have one for 2 minutes?
Yes.
Yeah, I could have 2 hours here, and it's not enough. First of all, I want you to understand something real quick. My father-in-law is a Holocaust survivor. My wife is Jewish. I raised both my sons Jewish. I did not convert, but I wanted to give them a faith to have a base on. Saying that, I support the Jewish people around the world. I support Americans around the world. I support the Russian people around the world. I support Palestinians around the world. I do not support the Israeli government. I do not support Hamas. I do not support Putin. And I currently do not support the current president. We need to get out of the war industry. The reason we sell these weapons is because we promote war, and we need to stop it. Now, there's a lot of talk about genocide. Is this genocide or is that genocide? What's the number? What's the number that creates genocide? Was the Hamas attack on October 7th, 2023 genocide? It was an attempt at it. They tried to eradicate as many Jewish people as they could. Is Israel's attack on Gaza genocide? Again, what's the number? Is our attack on Iran, where we killed 170 defenseless children, part of a homicide, genocide? When Putin crossed into Ukraine, is that genocide? My answer to all of them is yes, because it's killing innocent people, and we need to stop. Not only as a country, but as a world. And the way we do that is with diplomats. And I'll leave you with this to think about. There are 195 ambassadorships that are available to the United States. We have less than 100.
Thank you for your response.
I would agree with the other two. I think we need to get out of the war business as well. I am very anti-war myself, and I always want to choose diplomacy for it. What's happening in Israel is extremely complicated for a couple different reasons, but it involves religion, right? And anytime that you deal with religion, people's attitudes immediately shift, and they choose a side for it. And whatever side we choose, there's going to be people that are not going to be happy with us, right? Now, the main question for this one is, what do we do with the funding for it, correct? Is that right?
No, where do we fund the bombs?
Would you vote for further arms funding to Israel of any sort, defensive or otherwise?
Right. As far as that kind of stuff, I prefer if we do anything that it be defensive only, because I believe that if someone is under attack, then they need to be able to defend themselves, but they should not be able to go back on the offensive for that kind of stuff. So I would only be for defensive, and even that, I'm still not for it, because I believe that we should get out of the war business in general, so I would agree with Royal for that. And that's my answer for that one. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
Pedro, do you mind if I get my 30 seconds, even though I'm a little out of order? I just...
Yes, go ahead.
No, I agree, guys, wholeheartedly, and I think you can stand with Israel and absolutely reject Benjamin Netanyahu and the policies of his government.
Thank you for your responses. So moving into our final question, this one will be a little bit different. This question is, why do you believe that you are the best fit to represent our district? Please note that after this, the candidates will have a brief 3 minutes to make some closing remarks. So you may not want to overlap what you're saying here for that. I did ask earlier that most of the questions be exclusive to your viewpoints on some specific things, but for this question, we are making an exception. If you wish to discuss yourself relative to the other candidates, you may, for this question only. Why do you believe that you're best fit to represent our district? Royal, please begin.
So first of all, I'm not going to discuss the other candidates. I think they do a good job of defining themselves. I'm going to talk about me and why I think. I am not a stranger to Washington, D.C. I've walked the halls of the Pentagon. I worked in NSA where I had a building. I've worked with the CIA. I've worked with DEA. I've worked with every military department there is. I used to be the person that would give the briefings where legislators would make decisions, military decisions, based on. And I'm very proud of that time that I spent up there. And I got to know a couple people. I briefed over 100 congressmen, I briefed over 50 senators, I briefed 2 vice presidents while I was there, so I'm no stranger to DC. Why do I think I'd be the best candidate? Because I'm here to represent you. 100% you. The voters of this district. The pulse of this district, right? I want to make sure that we are represented in Washington, D.C. by someone who cares, which I'm sure the other 2 do also, but also by someone that will stand up for you and stand up for the Constitution of the United States. Thank you.
Royal, thank you for your response. Dan, please go ahead.
Yeah, so this is kind of a fun question, because honestly, I do not have a background in politics. I do not have a background in government. My background is in engineering, which means I'm a problem solver. And honestly, I'm just a concerned citizen. And the reason I'm running in general is because I don't like what's going on. And I decided to jump in the race and stand up for something new, right? I watched a video from Represent Us that said that there is no chance that any one of us can affect a law in here. Has anybody seen that video before? Where literally, like if 100% of people in this room wanted the bill to pass, it would still have a third chance of passing. If 0% of people wanted the bill to pass, it would still have a third a chance of passing for it. And that just drives me insane, right? Because I think we're stuck using 18th century technology. This isn't the time where we had to tell somebody how we wanted them to vote, put them on a horse, and send them up to DC. We have so much technology now, and we need to embrace it. And I think the way forward is direct democracy. I think the plan of attack now is the representative democracy, and it works sometimes. But the problem is no one is going to feel heard all of the time, unless you have a direct voice up in the government. And I believe that that's what my platform does, and I hope we give me the chance to prove that. Thank you.
Thank you for your response, Dan. James, please go ahead.
Again, I think if you look at the answers, we agree on most issues. I think it really comes down to approach and giving a broader view to others outside this room. I have passed legislation, I have written legislation, I understand the committee process, I understand the legislative process. I've worked at all levels of the federal government as a private sector attorney, yes, even as a lobbyist, but again, as some of us have discussed, for the right issues, and having an impact that you can look at and say, okay, I actually made a difference. I admire these guys. These guys have been running hard for a year. I've been at this 2 weeks, and you can see I'm not nearly as polished as they are. I'm a nervous flyer to begin with, and I'm only doing this because I believe firmly that we have to present another option to folks. People have tuned out from politics, people are angry, everything is too damn expensive, and our seniors are being left behind. Again, I think we need to be targeted, we need to be specific, and we need to give people a reason to join us and move beyond the rooms here and rooms that people that just agree with us. I keep saying the same thing, and it's probably old by now, but I promise you, having worked in politics, the more specific you can be, you talk about how are you going to help me. It's not about me, I assure you. The last thing in my life I ever thought I was going to do is run for Congress. It's not worth the trouble in many cases, but I think the stakes are too damn high right now, and this country is under attack, and it's all hands on deck, and that's why I'm offering myself.
Candidates, thank you so much for your responses to the long-form questions. Next, we're going to move into the candidate closing statements. This is going to be up to 3 minutes. You do not need to use the full time, but that is the time you have, 3 minutes. We're going to start from right to left. James, if you'll start, please.
I'm fighting for my mother. I'm fighting for seniors. I'm fighting for my brother who just got kicked off of healthcare. I'm fighting for my children who are dual citizens. You have people, we cited Anthony Sabatini. I'm talking about unpopular in this room, Royal. He wants to kick out 30 million immigrants, including my wife. People tell me, oh, it doesn't matter, your wife isn't brown. And I think how insulting that is to everybody else that is being thrown out, that's being roughed up, and in any way, they could knock on my door tomorrow. I think we have to fight, and I think we need to fight smarter, and I think we need to fight harder. I think we need to be focused, and I think we need to work together. These guys have been going around this district for over a year now, I think. However long it's been, I've been following you guys. I admire what you're doing. If the question is who's been in longer, then I should not even be in the race. But if the question is who has the experience to actually affect change in DC, who can work with people, who can compromise, who understands the processes that are faced, then I hope you'll consider voting for me.
Thank you for your closing statements. Dan, please go ahead.
It's time for something new. Let me just start there, right? In the House of Representatives, the makeup of it, there are 167 people with a political science background, right? Out of the 435 members. Out of those 435 members, there are 5 with any kind of computer expertise or technical experience. 5 out of 435. And those 5 members are trying to regulate things like AI and cryptocurrency, stablecoins, and digital privacy rights. And they're not doing a good job because there's just not enough of them, right? And the main reason for that is usually tech people like to stay behind the scenes and like to sit in front of a computer and just code. Trust me, I work with a lot of them, right? Now, I'm gonna be different because I have a technical background, but I also have a theater background. And I worked for Disney for 25 years. So I'm very good with talking to people, and I'm very good about getting those points across for it. Now, I do want to kind of talk a little bit, maybe. Test. Okay, good. I do want to talk a little bit more about my platform, because I know there's going to be a couple concerns about it, right? And James brought up one. The main thing is, what if people in the Republican Party start to take control of the voting? And my thing for that one is we outnumber them. We outnumber them as Democrats and independents, and we won't have to do that, right? And usually, by and far, the Republicans don't even like to vote, right? You listen to Donald Trump, you never have to vote again, right? And the thing about it is I think a lot of people are scared about this, and I understand it because it's new. But we have to start somewhere, and this could be the location that we start at, in this district. We can change fundamentally how Congress works. We can have a say, and a direct say, up in DC, right? And the only thing we have to do is make sure that we're not gonna be scared of it. And one way we can do that is trying to make a second chance for it. Now, I do pledge that my vote will always go with the majority opinion, no matter what it is. But what if we could vote in advance of it? How many people know how bills work, right? You can co-sponsor a bill, and we can actually put our name on it. So what if we had a vote for important bills? first, where we actually explained them before the Republican side actually got a chance to tell them their talking points. And what if we voted then, right? We could get our name on there, and then we would be guaranteed to vote yes. However, what if we do not get that, and we do not get a co-sponsorship for it? Then that tells us that we need to do some work. We need to get out there and talk to our neighbors, our friends, and our coworkers that live in our district. Discuss these policies and make sure that people actually understand what we're going to be doing. And I have faith in the district. I have faith that people are generally good and will vote for the good of everyone. And I hope you guys share that vision. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your closing statements. Roy, if you'll please go ahead.
So at the very beginning, I said I never know what I'm going to say to open up, and I got news for you. I don't know what I'm going to say now, so it's just going to flow. But first of all, before I start speaking about anything, I'd like to thank Trevor and Pedro and Ethan and Farmer Banks and everything. Can we give them a round of applause? And everybody else that was involved here, Paul, everybody else. And this is not easy to put on. It is not, but it's so important. And I've never understood how we can get 5,000 people to a protest, but we can't fill this room. You are the people that are out there, you are the people that are doing everything, right? The reason your faces are familiar to everybody out here is because you're everywhere. And I want to thank you. So please give yourself a round of applause. So, my closing. This, like every other election, is very important. And I'm going to give you 2 elections outside of ours that you need to keep an eye on, because I think they're the 2 most important elections in this country's last 30 years, if not longer. The governorship for Florida and James Pericola in Texas. Keep your eye on that. I'm not telling you not to support us, but I'm telling you to support those races because they are so important. As that goes, so will the country. I promise you, those are the 2 most important races in this country come November 3rd. And I finish every single time I talk about this. Let me thank James and Dan first for being here. I appreciate it. I enjoy working together with other candidates. And the reason why is this. August 18th, one of the 3 of us is going to have good news. The other 2 is not. Come August 19th, you better wake up, whoever it is, and every other single candidate out there, and realize that we, as a party, is much more important than me as a candidate. I pledge right now, if I am not the winner, I will support whoever is. Why? Because if we don't, come November 4th, the day after the November 3rd election, we are going to wake up to a country we don't want to see. And I'm telling you right now, get out, work harder. Work harder. I know you all work hard because I see you everywhere. Work harder and get more people involved. And I promise you, we need to unify. And I pledge to you that I will support whoever wins on August 18th. Thank you very much. God bless you. God bless the United States of America.
Thank you so much to each candidate for responding. Real quick before we dismiss, I have a couple of things that I want to talk over. First off, these handouts, they're around the room and other places. I just want to correct some things. Early voting says August 8th, it's actually August 6th. For the primary election, for the general election, it says early voting is October 24th, it's actually October 19th. But from there, thank you so much to each of the candidates for coming out and supporting this event and coming to speak. Thank you to the South Lake Democrats for helping us host this event. We really appreciate your support as always. Thank you for all other attending groups, the Golden Triangle Democratic Club, the Greater Leesburg Democratic Club, Villages Democratic Club, the Black Caucus, Rainbow Democrats, and many, many others that are around the room. And thank you so much to the volunteers who handed out signs, who helped get this event going. We wouldn't be able to do the event without you. And of course, thank you all for attending. We really appreciate your attendance and we really appreciate your support. We hope that this forum was effective for you to help make your decision come August. Thank you to the City of Clermont and the South Lake Chamber of Commerce for the venue. This is a beautiful venue and we really appreciate it. And once again, that primary date is August 18th. Please mark your calendars so you can make your decision. And of course, last but certainly not least, thank you, Kim Norberg, for helping us organize this event. We appreciate it so much. Always incredibly impressive what you're able to do. We really appreciate it.
And can I say one more thing?
Yes.
And can we give one more round of applause for Ethan and Pedro for hosting it?
And to come.
I've got donuts and coffee at my table. I'd love to chat with all of you.
Yes, and two final quick things. Tables to visit. Each of these tables around the room are different groups or candidates running for different offices. We would appreciate if you would be able to stop at any of these and check them out, ask them about their groups, and ask the candidates about their platforms. And everybody can also meet with the candidates afterwards, but we have a 20-minute time window to discuss before we have to leave, so please be mindful of that time window. Thank you so much for attending.